What's the 15th again?
Luncheon?
Did I throw it in my calendar yet? I don't know why I haven't thrown it in my calendar. Let me see if it's in there. I didn't put it in my calendar, but I have nothing else going on, so I guess I could.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah. Do you know the time offhand? I don't know. I'll just put a question mark behind it. Okay. That's all right. Yeah, it's been a rough Monday.
Call the Oglesby City Council meeting to order. Patty.
Oh, I'm sorry, Arterbright.
Here.
Cullinan.
Here.
Curran.
Here.
Wieski.
Here.
Rivara.
Here. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And could I ask you to remain standing just for a minute and bow our heads in a minute of silence for the victims of the high school shooting in Michigan? Public comments on agenda items only?
Jim?
I need a motion and second. No, I need a motion and second to approve the minutes from the November 15th, 2021 regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November 15, 2021 regular meeting.
Second.
Arterbright.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Wieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Since I jumped ahead and did public comments early, I need a motion and second to approve bills as presented for payment. But I want to eliminate on page 5, the Illinois Tollway, that's a credit card account that's not, that's been voided. So with that exception, I'll entertain a motion to accept and approve the bills as presented for payment.
I will make the motion to accept bills as presented for payment except for the Illinois tollway charge of $2,000.
Second.
Arterbright.
Aye.
Cullinan. Curran.
Aye.
Wieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Approve 120621 R1, a resolution of the City of Oglesby, LaSalle County, Illinois, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute an agreement by and between the City of Oglesby and GTI Oglesby LLC.
This is the, we talked about it last week, but just to recap, this is similar to the agreement that we had last year for them to go to their next phase for us to purchase the equipment and get it installed on site. Any follow-up questions for any of that? With that, I'll make a motion to approve 120621 R1, a resolution of the City of Oglesby, LaSalle County, Illinois, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute an agreement by and between the City of Oglesby and GTI Oglesby LLC.
I'll
Second.
second.
Give it to her.
Arterbright.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Wieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Approve 1177-111521, an ordinance amending compensation for the employees of the Oglesby City Ambulance Service.
There is very little that would be a surprise in this ordinance. The one thing that it does state is that it puts the ambulance director, gives it a little bit more than the 3% increase initially. This is try to incrementally get somebody that's a director in line with other directors in the area. She is paid well below the standard in this area. After that, it would be a 3% increase for her as well as for the other employees of the department for the subsequent years. Are there questions, concerns, comments? If none, I'd like to make a motion to approve 1177-111521, an ordinance amending compensation for employees of the city, Oglesby City Ambulance Service.
Second.
Archerbright,
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Wieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Approve 1179-120621, an ordinance levying taxes for all corporation purposes for the city of Oglesby, LaSalle County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning May 1, 2021, and ending April 30th, 2022.
I will make a motion to approve ordinance 1179-120621, an ordinance levying taxes for all corporation purposes for the city of Oglesby, LaSalle County, Illinois, for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2021, and ending April 30th, 2022.
Second.
Archerbright,
Aye.
Cullinan. Curran.
No.
Wieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Place on file 1180-122121, an ordinance establishing a board of directors for the ambulance service for the city of Oglesby, LaSalle County, Illinois.
At one time, there was a board, and that was in place. It was dissolved probably 6 years ago, maybe, and I'm not sure the reasons for the resolution or of the resolving of it, but I can say that I think it's important when you have a revenue-producing department such as this, that there are some checks and balances in place. Plus, it will help have support for the director of the ambulance department in some decision-makings, and I just see it as a positive thing to reinstate this board.
I agree. I see that it says place on file, but since we're not spending funds for this one, couldn't this one just be directly approved?
I think so.
Because it's just an ordinance that,
Probably could, Jason, you're correct. We're not establishing a contract either. It's not just all about funds, but you can't approve a contract like the
Okay.
GTI thing without placing it on file.
gotcha.
So if
Saying-
somebody wants to make that motion, you could probably.
Well, I'd like to make the motion.
Well, I just got
Oh,
a
yes, go ahead.
question here.
Yeah.
It says elected, so are they appointed or are they elected?
They're appointed.
Okay.
They're
the only question
appointed
I
with the advice, Dom appoints them, you guys have to approve.
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I took a look. I think the elected thing is, what happens is after the board comes together, I think they elect between themselves who the chairman is, which I thought that was
Okay.
odd, but that's what, I think that's what they're talking about when they say
I get it.
elected.
Right, and the other thing that's in there about the elected is the Commissioner for Health and Safety is a member of that board, but that's only as long as that person is the commissioner.
Right.
So that would be for the next election, that
Okay.
person would change.
Okay. That's all I had.
All right. I'd like to make a motion to approve 1180-122-121, an ordinance establishing a board of directors for the ambulance service for the city of Oglesby, LaSalle County, Illinois.
Second.
Archerbright,
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Wieski.
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Next is discuss and decide on a request from the Oglesby Library for repairs to the building. I have a letter here. It says the Oglesby Public Library District needs your help. During the closure caused by COVID-19, we noticed building damage that is in need of repair. Like many others, the library is finding itself short on funds to do all the needed repairs to the building. Our first priority is the gutter repair. The gutters are rusted out and the rivet points and the water is trickling down the building and washing away the mortar from the brick. The main issues with our gutters is rusted, badly damaged rivets, wasted away silicone sealant, and not enough downspouts to keep water from moving correctly. I have attached 2 quotes for the necessary repairs. Once the gutters are repaired, we need to repair the washed-out motor and place the water sweeps away, keep away more damage. I have attached a quote on this work as well. Not only will this help prevent further building damage, it will also brighten the face of the library. We are reaching out to the city of Oglesby for help. We are asking you for a donation to the Oglesby Public Library to help with the cost of these items. If you have any questions, please contact Rich Fulmer, Board President, or any Board of Trustee, and everybody has signed it. What they're asking for is what I've been told is $10,000. The big part of the problem is water is getting between the brick and the building. Discussion.
So if I'm understanding this right, these 2 bids are less than $10,000.
The first 2 are for the gutter repair, and the last one is for replacing of, oh, maybe it's not.
This one's the brick, and
I think
these
it's
two,
all
are the
3
same.
combined. The one bid is for a little bit more work.
Well,
I was,
Because
I was told what they're asking for is 10,000.
Yeah, I was seeing the 5,700 and the 3,350.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little confused as well. So when I see the first 2, I'm assuming, and I read a little bit of talk about the mortar and the labor masonry work. I'm assuming the first 2 big ones are the same work, and then the other one is the rivets for gutter stuff. So when I add up the 2 lowest versions of it, it's 57 and 33. Is that right?
Yeah,
These 2 are the same, I believe.
no. I think it's, I thought it was these 2.
These 2, I think the pricing's just that off, but I think it's the same thing on this too. And then there's another masonry bid in the last packet that is not here now, but.
Yeah, the letter is not real clear on exactly
I was
which
just
bids
looking
they're
for some
referring to.
explanation.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna spend it via TIF funds, I don't think we can just give them 10,000 cash from it. I think it has to be specific. Like when we do our TIF recs and stuff, I believe it has to be specific for the jobs at hand. So I think we'd have to add up which ones there are and put in for that.
And are they asking for the total amount, or are they going to be paying for some of it out of their own?
Where are they, Dom?
Or unless they are needed,
Explanations here.
unless there's something I'm misunderstanding and they do need to do all 3, which would be more than 10,000, and
these
that's why
2
they're
are
asking for 10,000.
Rivets and downspouts. This one
But
doesn't have gutter
it's
screens, this one
my
does.
understanding, if you take a look at, and I looked at all 3, it comes up to about $15,013. If you do the 2 lowest ones, it's $9,050.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think you're right, Tommy, and I look, it's the
This one has
highest
a
and the
gutter guard,
lowest.
this one doesn't, but these 2 are like the same thing, and then there's the masonry.
Yep.
Which there was another masonry bid last packet that probably compares to this one, but I'm guessing this one was the cheaper one. Hopefully.
If we go with the ones that's the low one, it comes to $9,050.
Which is less than $10,000. So unless we're buying these guys lunch too, I don't know why they need 10,000, so.
Well,
I'm just saying.
could we agree to give them $9,050?
I don't have an issue giving TIF money to the library. In case people are curious why we're even talking about this, some of the conversation in the past that came up with the library is when we have a TIF offset agreement with the school, because we're required to do that. We're not necessarily required to do that with the library, but the library does get less funds while they're still trying to get money from that TIF right there. So that's why I think a couple years ago, we agreed occasionally if they have things that they'd like to do. I'd prefer it to be something that gives to the community, like they did last time when we did $10,000 worth of computers and stuff like that. So I don't have an issue with this because I think they're gonna fall out of the TIF after this year anyway. So that's the basis of it. I don't have an issue giving them 9,050 if that's the concern. I don't think we can give them 10,000 if our things don't match up for it. But that might be more of a legal question if that can work that way.
I would agree, you shouldn't give them more than you have justification for.
Yeah, because I think that's how they have
If
to,
they're spending TIF funds, which is where this is coming from.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess because there's questions, are we able to, do we have time to table it and then bring it back to the next council meeting with explanations of the quotes?
We'll do anything this council wants to do.
I just wanna throw this out there before we continue on. They are their own taxing body, they tax, so why are we subsidizing them?
it's,
This is my burning question.
It
This has
comes-
been going on forever, so this is my,
Which is why
why
I
don't we
asked,
just
are they
absorb
sub-
them if we're
yeah.
paying for them anyway?
so some of their board
Let's
members,
throw that out there now.
some of their board members came up and talked to us about this because they're trying to draw the differences between the difference with the school and what they get. Because the school gets reduced taxing dollars because of our TIF agreement that we have. So therefore, there's a
They
legal.
do not.
What's that?
And they do not.
Correct, the library does not. Even though we don't have a legal requirement to do it with the library, that was their argument, so.
And so next year, we're not paying for their utilities, their lawn mowing, their dumpster, cause they're gonna have the TIF funds now. Or are they gonna still want us to pay for that?
They're gonna still want us to pay
Of
for it.
course they are. Just saying, it's a great debate here, and I'm not just talking about this specific topic, it's just in general.
I agree, it's,
I feel like we're subsidizing them when they don't wanna, if they
We-
need to raise
we
taxes,
are.
go get yelled at for a day, choose the taxation, there you go. But they don't wanna be the bad guys, and they want us to be the bad guys. Well, we should table it to get some kind of explanation either way, cause I think these are the same bid, and there's another masonry
Yeah,
somewhere.
I really don't wanna give money without no understanding what the quotes are.
Might be nice if somebody comes to the council meeting.
I agree. Definitely.
I'll entertain a motion to table the request from the library.
I make a motion to table the request from the library.
Second.
Archibald.
Aye.
Cullinan. Curran.
aye.
Wieski.
Aye.
Rivera.
Aye. Last on the agenda is, decide on action for the remaining applicant for the 2021 facade program. Tonight's council meeting agenda, we need to address the reimbursement for the work on the root beer stand. Mr. Moore did not do all the procedures accordingly. He applied for the grant, had a nightmare getting quotes, prices, work scheduled. He did not comply with all the steps of the facade guideline. What Mr. did accomplish was a great improvement on his building and attracts business to the city of Oglesby. It's been a plus. We cannot point and blame someone for the mistakes. I was recently made aware of emails of another property that was approved for reimbursement. I have met with the facade committee about the problems they faced and what needed to be done going forward. I have met with the city attorney on drafting a new facade ordinance, adding 2 members to the committee, Ken Fesick as chairman and Bob Minty, with the purpose of correcting and ensuring that the contract be signed with the applicant, that all rules and guidelines be filed, or no reimbursement made. This is an Oglesby business, a business that's been here over 60 years. It has always supported the city of Oglesby. I'm going to recommend that we approve his request for reimbursement on those expenses where he has met the facade guidelines. Effective January 1st, 2022, the new facade grievance hopefully will be in effect and followed every step of the way. And basically, it comes down to, there was 2 bids and work that was done. A lot of it from the higher one was $11,052.50. Electrical was, half of that would be $4,050. Nelson Decorating Painting was $42,1250. And that comes to $19,315. Spellage came in, did the work, Coolmaster, he couldn't get over here to do the work, so, I'm recommending, according to the facade agreement, that we, reimburse Mr. Moore $19,315.
Can I ask when the application was submitted?
Pardon?
May I ask when the application was submitted? You said he completed the application but had trouble getting, you said he submitted the application but had trouble getting bids, which I understand that. When was the application actually submitted?
The bids that I have, and Amy could probably tell me, she's not here tonight. I'd say the applicant was submitted sometime in May.
The
Or before that?
The application for the facade was submitted
Yes.
in May, and the work was done when? Because last meeting it said that the application was submitted after the work was completed.
No.
Okay, that's what was said at the last meeting.
Well, if I said it, I was in error. These estimates for the work, go all the way back till June.
Well, that changes things up quite a bit. So the application, I guess I don't understand why it wasn't approved then if the application was put in prior to the work getting done then.
Right.
Because I heard there's emails about another problem, and I'm not trying to say one problem justifies the other. I want to make sure we do the right thing here. But that changes it up completely, though, if the application was put in. But I guess I don't understand why it wasn't processed.
He did it properly applying for it. And after applying for it, I guess maybe some of this was the work in flux, trying to get contractors. And if anybody has done any work or tried to get a contractor, it's a nightmare. You know, it's fairly evident on the one bill, the carpentry work, he couldn't get a second bid.
So
So
why
we
was
co-
it referred back from the facade committee to the council?
The facade committee felt, hey, it's the council to make a decision.
I feel like I don't have all the information in front of me.
I kind of agree. So the problem here is, I recognize the city has had some issues in the past. And the reason I can't say anything about it is because I don't know enough about it. You know, and I feel like if I made a vote in the past approving facade agreements, because I assumed that the committee met and that really wasn't happening, we need to fix that process.
Well, that's what the new ordinance will fix.
But I understand that, but for this one here, I'm confused, I guess, a little bit how there was problems with another one where something didn't meet up, but yet that still got approved. But if this one was still done on time with everything was applied for, why was this one not approved then? Because basically, why are we talking about this here on December 6th when the other ones were approved in the past as well? I guess that's where I'm not understanding what's
Right.
going on. And
I just feel like there's missing
I
information.
I feel like there is stuff missing, and if I make a vote on something again, shame on me, because last time I did there's something you call trust but verify. And I trusted when I heard that the committee had met and made recommendations, but apparently I failed to verify. So by me just doing that now, again, I feel like I'm repeating the problem again.
I agree.
I mean, if they legitimately turned it in and on time, what makes it even worse is this is probably what I think is the most iconic business in Oglesby. Probably the most important one granted, yeah, Cookie Kingdom, GTI, they're bigger, but when you have a business like this, they're important because they represent kind of like the heart and soul of
They
what a
do.
small town
Absolutely.
represents.
Amen.
So I hate to be the one that's holding them up, of all businesses, for something like that, but I want to make sure we're doing it right. I mean, if they did everything right, and something got passed on our part, like the city in any way, shape, or form failed to process the application, by all means, we should give it to them.
Right.
But I keep hearing different things, and I don't have a good warm fuzzy that I have all the information.
I echo your sentiments. I grew up at the Ripper stand. I love, every time my husband and I pass there, one of us always comments of what a great job that has been done there, so,
They
you know, I
did
can
a
appreciate it.
phenomenal job.
So, but that's not the point. The point is, did all the i's get dotted and the t's get crossed as it should have been? And if it was, then the facade committee should have just steamrolled ahead and said, go with it. But it seemed like at our last meeting, it was kind of placed on our laps because they didn't want to be the bad guy. And I think I even used those terms last time. So I just feel like I was either given bad information the last time, or I wonder why is it here? It should have just been approved and gone forward with.
I was gonna make a counter proposal, actually, but now, my counter proposal was gonna be, okay, they didn't get their thing in time. They did all the good work, though, and they would have done it right if they would have supplied on time. So maybe instead of them giving 50% of it, we give them a quarter. But now, if they actually did everything right, I gotta find out where the mistake was, because if they did everything right and it was something on our part that we screwed up, they probably should be entitled to the 50%
full-out.
of it. But, you know, I don't know what, I don't have enough information to
You
give a
know,
recommendation.
it's pretty easy to go, especially in this type of a case, to go and point the finger and says, well, you didn't do 1, 2, and 3.
But there are reasons to do 1, 2, and 3, Don.
Pardon?
There are reasons to do 1, 2, and 3.
I
You know,
understand that.
and if we don't follow rules or the guidelines, then we entered, as I said last time, we go down that slippery slope. Anybody can do anything as long as they had good intentions. And then the next time, well, you gave it to him, you may as well give it to me. I don't want to
Well,
go down that
I think that's why
road.
we're here tonight. Very
Well-
honestly. And part of that, maybe I assume some things. We all make decisions with the best intention.
I'd like to find out where the error was. If the error was on the city's part, shame on us, and we'll, you know, then I would recommend.
If there was an error.
If there was an error, but I'm hearing so many different things with this. And I don't know which one it
I
is.
think we should build a timeline, what happened and when. Just saying. We keep talking about it, that's probably what's gonna fix it, if anything.
Okay.
So what's the recommendation?
Build a timeline so everyone can see when the application got submitted, when it got finished, when all the quotes were in, the work got done, why it's now that we're doing this.
Well, we could vote to put their application on file and stuff, so that way, once we get all the information we need, that way the next meeting of the month, we could actually just approve whatever we decide to approve or not.
Sounds
But I think we need to get some more information. I'd like to actually see the actual application itself, when it was put in, when it was submitted, and.
When the work was done. And I know that getting quotes from contractors is very, very hard. I've done that before, projects before.
And I'm not trying to point the fingers. If there was like a city employee that somehow
No,
didn't process it or whatever, that's fine. I mean, obviously, there's some issues with our facade program that we are going to rectify next year, but I want to make sure that everybody's treated fairly this year, though, too.
I agree. I want it to be fair for everyone.
So do I hear a motion and second to table it and put the timeline together?
You can place it on file Well, we don't, doesn't need to be on file if,
Is it? I don't even know if it is,
No.
because I haven't seen it yet.
I think it's the same as tabling it either way.
Okay.
Learned that the last
Okay.
meeting.
I would suggest you table it.
alrighty.
I'll make a motion to table the remaining, the action for remaining applicant for the 2021 facade program pending more information.
Second.
Archibald,
Aye.
Cronin. Curran.
Aye.
Wieski,
Aye.
Rivara.
Aye. Old business. Public comments. Come to the,
Because if you don't, the people that are watching online can't hear it.
I guess my question is, with the ambulance building, is that a City of Oglesby building?
Yes.
the ambulance service, yes?
Then why ain't the city just taking care of it? What are you worried about taxing and all that other stuff?
The library or the
Yeah,
ambulance?
The library.
No, the library's not
No,
ours.
no, the library is
not.
not.
They're their own taxing body.
They're their own taxing body.
Okay, and that answers the question.
Commissioner reports?
I have nothing to report tonight.
I didn't get anything from the ambulance, but from the fire department, we did have 19 calls last month. And we did replace the bay doors. They're installed and they're now wonderfully functional. From the police department, we did quite a lot there as well. 81 traffic stops, 6 citations, 15 case reports. Well, it's good to announce that Officer Rivara is going to be going to the academy in January. Let's see, we did have 10 applicants. Applications were taken out for, to be able to test for potentially police department here, and 9 of them were returned. So that's a good thing as well. At least we, hopefully we'll get a few more after the testing, get a few more on our list to choose from. I'm very happy to announce that the BB Gun Club has been started up again after its hiatus from COVID. And then last but not least, I have a new one on, for the Officer of the Month. It's Evan Dutlinger. So congratulations, Officer Dutlinger, on doing such a great job.
As far as commissioner reports, the only thing I have is that the Christmas lights are completed and up. The only other thing I have as a commissioner is a comment. We did not really discuss anything about the tax thing. I won't rehash everything again because I appreciate that you gave me my opportunity to speak at the last meeting we had when we placed it on file. And I didn't want to go into long detail today because I was surprised that not a single resident came to talk about that. Since they didn't, that tells me maybe I'm fighting the wrong fight then, if people are concerned about it. But again, I'll say it again, just because I think that's one of the problems with the state of Illinois with property taxes, is that everybody that has a taxing body raises it to the maximum they can without having a truth in taxation hearing. And I think that's wrong, and that's just my 2 cents. Other than that, that's all I got.
Cully? you-
Yeah, I'd like to comment on a little thing that I talked to Parks, John Rose about. It was about an online program from Community Pass. It would include an online program for reservations for the Dickinson House, Lehigh Park, summer camps, and some training and everything that is involved. And I asked John if he would like to come and talk to everybody and give them a heads up on what exactly all is involved.
Yeah, the company's Community Pass. They're gonna just kind of help us move into the digital world of online signups, so we're not having parents come here for between 8 and 4:30 when it's their normal working hours as well. And it's also, they'll be able to help us with Lehigh Park as well, with the bookings in there, and as well as Dickinson House. It's a 4-step, user-friendly process. Very simple, right to the point, no skipping steps of anything. Goes in, payment goes there, and the payments can be easily switched over right into our bank with the processing fee. And then we will still offer the paper option as well to members who might not be, internet inclined, is what I'm trying to say. And it also help us cut costs down, operate at a higher efficiency within the city and in the Parks and Recreation Department as well. Do you guys have any questions?
How much does the service cost us?
The service, it'll be a one-time fee of $3,000, and that'll be training with web-based as well, and a setup for the recreation, and then the annual fee of $59.50 is what it'll be. $5,950 will be the annual fee, and this isn't just limited to this as well. We can incorporate some more along the line if we want to.
And then did you say that there was like some type of fee with the, if I signed up for $30 or whatever, do they take some of that 30?
From what I'm seeing here, I have some notes here with it that he gave me with the quote, but I don't think that affects us as well. As from what I'm looking at, it might be on the payment processing fees. But I do have these to hand out if you guys want to take a look at it.
Was this just for Parks, Lehigh, and Dickinson House, or was this also for like the programs that we have for the kids and stuff
Like
as
the
well?
BB gun
Summer,
club?
summer,
everything.
summer rec, winter
The summer,
rec,
all the,
everything.
also all of them?
So,
Okay,
yes,
now that is
ev-
good.
Every single one. And I'd be on the administration side with it as long as, some of the girls here at City Hall.
That's a really good point. I'm just curious, I'd be curious to how many parents or something like that didn't participate in something because it was too difficult to get here between, 8 and 4:30 because of signing people up for something like that. So that would be a good thing. Good
Yes.
thing. Moving on.
That's the biggest issue what parents have come to me about is the not being able to get here in time to sign up.
Make technology work for you, I guess.
So why did we choose these guys unlike the other probably 100 out there?
This one is probably the most user-friendly that I've seen so
Okay.
far with it, with an easy 4-step process because I'm sure we've all used parts of this, of anything when we're trying to sign up for something.
Yeah.
And we'll get derailed of how frustrating it can get in parts.
Okay.
And he gave me a demo Friday and it's a very nice system that he's got.
Do you know how long of a contract this is? That's my only question, because I know we've run into billing issues, and I hate to be locked into something for 30 years if it's terrible.
Yes, I do not right now, but I will contact him tomorrow and get those out and let you guys know. Before we move forward with anything.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Any other questions? No. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
I just got a couple things, just an FYI to the residents, who are upset that they get their neighbors' leaves in their yard. Can't blow them back onto the street and into your neighbor's yard. It causes a nightmare when leaves blow into the city drains. An ordinance was passed in 1966 to prohibit the blowing of grass clippings and foliage to the street. If you did, you would get ticketed and fined anywhere from $5 to $100. If we have to modify and update the city ordinance, we can. We could start at 100 and go to 5. It seems silly and petty, because your neighbor's leaves blow into your yard, you gotta blow them in the street. It doesn't make sense to me. I want to commend the city workers, residents, and business for the great job in getting the city lighted for the Christmas season. Remember the city's Christmas festivities, December 18th, 5 to 8. And I was just notified today that, or actually, I got some information on it today, that the IBEW is putting on a solar training session in the Peru Fire Department in about the middle of January. Our firemen are gonna go, our city employees are gonna go. I think this is a good step forward. It's a safety step. And apparently what has happened is that up in the suburbs, they had a fire at the house that had solar on the roof. They disconnected the utility, disconnected the service to the house. The fireman got up there and he went through one of the solar cables up there, took an electrical shock. That didn't kill him, but the fall off the roof did. And this is an effort to make our firemen, our city employees aware of the potential danger that we have out there in solar. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Archibald,
Aye.
Coleman, Kern,
Aye.
Bianski,
Aye.
Rivera.
Aye.
That is what I said today. However, unfortunately, you weren't here last week when I went into a much, much longer debate. I know. Well, the problem I have, you can quote me on this, is the city right now had not only we have a surplus the year before, but we had a we had a $3.2 million surplus this last fiscal year. So my argument is, if we are never gonna raise it the maximum we can, when you have a $3.2 million surplus, what would it take not to raise it the maximum?
That's how I look at it.
And damn, I was really hoping more people were gonna be here because of that. It was a working meeting. I know. That tax item showed up that morning.